You're watching Talking About Orcs.
Hey, in this episode talking about orcs, we're going to go over real quick the Burna Boyz. Burna Boyz have always been one of those things that you either love or don't use. There's really no middle ground with them. And there was some rules contention before that if that Burna Boyz could even overwatch, because they're not really weapons. Burnas aren't. And in the codex it says may fire in the shooting phase as using the profile on the, which is a flamer profile. So people were arguing because it says in the shooting phase you couldn't overwatch with them. Well, the latest round of facts got rid of that problem. You can in fact overwatch with Burnas using the wall of death or whatever it's called, the rule. The important thing is though you cannot overwatch with a Burna and use it as a power weapon, because it is an unusual power weapon. So it's just strength and AP3, nothing unusual about it, or nothing special about it. So the main thing I want to go over is two points with the Burnas. One is that they can overwatch with their Burnas, which is really, really good. But the more importantly, here, I got this bookmarked here. It says, which models can fire? Why is it showing up on the page? Which models can fire? Here it is. A player can choose not to fire with certain models if he prefers, as some models may have one-use only weapons, for example. This must be declared before rolling to hit. What that means is that you, of course, can choose to use, because Overwatch uses all the normal shooting rolls, with the exception of their snapshots and the wall of death. You can't choose to only Overwatch with some of the Burnas. So you don't have to do an all or none type thing, which is really, really fortunate as far as I'm concerned. So you got a unit of 10 Burnas, and depending on what's coming at you, you might want to use power weapons, you might want to use the wall of death, whatever. So having the option to use as many or as few as you want on the Overwatch is really good. The other thing you need to realize with Burnas is that passengers can overwatch when assaulting a vehicle. Let me find that part here in the rules. Vehicles. I'm going to bookmark this one too. Assaulting a vehicle. Infantry can pose a grave threat, blah 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 blah. Vehicles cannot overwatch. Transports. If a transport vehicle is assaulted, the embarked unit can fire Overwatch. So if you got those Burnas in a battle wagon, you're going to get some wall of death love if they're going to come at the battle wagon. You're probably not going to see a whole lot of assaulting battle wagons, unfortunately, because of vehicle rules, but that's another video for another time. But Burna Boyz are still really, really good. They're good for the sitting in a vehicle saying, "Come at me, bro." They're good for just putting a ton of wounds on something. The only downside, of course, is that Burnas are elite, which means they're going to take away from your other elite choices, because elites are still the most contentious part of the Ork Codex. So you're going to want Ludas, you're going to want you may want tank busters, but that's another video. And so Burnas are fighting for a spot and a very, very filled force org. Of course, if you get to the point where you run dual force orgs, that's one thing, but that's up to your local meta, I guess. Of course, the Burnas still suffer from the same thing that they've always suffered from. They have to get up close and personal to be useful, and they're still really, really fragile, and they're still 15 points a model. So, as I said, some people really, really like Burnas. Some people just don't use them. I've tried them a few times, and to be honest, I think the Ludas are a better use of your elite slot, or commandos. Well, at least that was in 5th edition. The Ludas and tank busters are a better use of your elite slot than Burnas, just simply because of the range. Being able to do things at range and stay safe behind a wall or in terrain or behind a KFF, which is something that Burnas really don't have the luxury for. So that's a real quick take on Burna Boyz. Really, they haven't changed a whole lot from 5th to 6th. If you use them exactly like you did in 5th edition, but they gain the additional benefit of the Overwatch, of the ability to Overwatch. And of course, they're only AP3 instead of being instead of knowing armor. So that'll wrap up this real quick episode of Talking About Orcs. Talk to you guys later.